So interest rates are up for the 10th straight time. If you have credit cards, auto loans, considering buying a house, or you're invested in the stock market, then you need to hear this. The Federal Reserve announced this past Wednesday that it's raising interest rates by 0.25%, bumping the federal funds rate to a target range of 5% to 5.25%. Their decision stems from the fact that inflation hit 5% year over year in March. Interest rates are the tool that the Federal Reserve uses to slow down the economy and to get inflation under control. With this, the main questions for market participants are, will the Fed continue to raise rates, or will there be a recession or not? In my opinion, a broad economic slowdown or a recession will likely be the price to be paid if they want to keep inflation under control. In the meantime though, here are some other questions that you should be asking. So the first one, how will my credit card rates be affected by another federal funds rate hike? The average APR on a new credit card offer stood at 23.84% at the end of April, the highest it's been in decades according to LendingTree. If you thought that that was bad, they're probably going to creep just a little bit higher. If you already have credit cards, the 20.92 average annual percentage rate is currently the highest since the Fed began tracking this type of data and will rise with a further rate increase. So you should see this rate within the next few billing cycles. Higher rates will cost you more and take a little bit longer to pay off your credit card debt, though you should be kind of paying this off month to month anyways. Now, here's a little secret. There are these weapons called zero balance transfer credit cards, and they are about the best weapon you can have to fight against credit card debt. If you have good credit, you can access one of these and it'll offer you a promotional period without any interest. Some go up to 21 months, I believe, but it's a really big deal. The only caution I have is that remember that opening a new credit card shortens the length of your credit history, which affects your credit score by 15%. So take your time and ask yourself if it's worth the trade-off. Otherwise, here's what you can do. Call up your credit card provider and ask them to cut your interest rate. Kind of sweeten it up, say you've been a loyal customer for over long, you've been on time with your payments, and just see what they say. According to LendingTree, in an April report, more than 3/4 of cardholders who asked for a lower APR in the past got one. The average reduction was about 6%, which would save you $500 or more depending on how much you owe. Next, how does this affect your plans to buy a house? If you already have an existing mortgage, you won't see any changes, so feel free to skip this part. Recent and prospective buyers are feeling the higher rates. These rates are pretty volatile right now, and at the end of April, the average rate was 6.43%. Let me point something out though. The Fed influences but does not directly set mortgage rates, so home loan costs may not increase. What's interesting though is that rate hikes are usually priced into mortgages in advance, so if you got a new mortgage before this rate hike, it already may account for this higher rate. So again, you may not see that change, but just beware. Even though mortgage rates may not significantly rise with another rate hike, I still think they're pretty steep these days. Compared to what you would have bought a house for at the start of last year, this year you're going to be shelling out a whole lot more. Third, how does this affect your auto loan? So get this, in the first 3 months of the year, the average APR was 7% compared to 4.4% last year at this time. According to Edmunds, this is the highest interest rate since 2008. I mean, we're talking a monthly payment on a new vehicle going from $656 to $730 on average. And obviously this fluctuates depending on your financial profile, so you could even be paying a lot more per month. I won't leave you without any tips though, so here's my take. To lower your monthly payments, simply increase your down payment. So you may want to save up as much as possible before you decide to go out and buy a new car or finance a new car. So what this will help you to do is really make your loan terms as affordable as possible that works in your favor. And this is a big one. How do higher interest rates affect the stock market? So generally speaking, higher rates makes borrowing and business investment more expensive, and it cools consumer spending, which ends up cutting the corporate profits. But honestly, even with the recent corporate earnings I've been paying attention to, they haven't been as bad as predicted. So I think there's a little bit less effect here, and there are other things that consumers and market participants are more worried about. If anything, recent bank failures are what's causing uncertainty in the market. And lastly, How does this affect you as a saver? You know, deposit rates are already at record highs not seen in a decade, so if they more than likely won't go that much higher if they even move at all. This is honestly probably going to be the last call. What I would say, now is the time to lock in on where you want to save the extra cash. Don't waste any time. Do your research and park your cash somewhere that has a great rate. So with the most recent Fed meeting wrapping up last week, here's what you should take away. It's important to know how to react as interest rates rise in order to protect your finances. Reducing debt will always help you in a rising rate environment. Also, increasing your savings and staying focused on your long-term investment strategy, despite the day-to-day fluctuations of the stock market, are guaranteed to benefit you. So guys, we've come to the end of this video, and I'm going to ask you for a favor. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have anyone asking about what's going on with interest rates, anyone you know that's kind of asking what to do, share this video with them, and I hope to see you next time.